Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a short video. Let me introduce you to the White House.
Deadliest year in U.S. history.
Defined our lives.
Mystery virus.
Lose the legal right to have an abortion.
The numbers, the mass graves.
He will destroy this country.
20 years after the 9/11 attacks.
They're done with this regime.
This is not going to stop here.
So you keep looking for answers. It's what all of us are doing. I represent the principles of liberty, choice, agency, and God's given dominion to you as a man and a woman. Given to you here in this country, the United States of America, given to you to give you the opportunity to create, to conceive, to evolve, and to become everything that God had built you to become. But we face a challenge. This challenge itself is hitting us in our cell phones. Our kids are being bombarded with propaganda from the media from every single direction. I'm gonna have you consider that every episode that we do is gonna drive you deeper and deeper into this one singular truth. And that placed here on this earth, you were not put here to play small, and that the government is not going to save you. That the church is not going to save you. We, the people, must step above political parties. We must step above religious affiliation. We must step above our economic situation. This is what we're going to show you here. A real version of living a real life. My wife and I run both eight-figure brands. We lead movements, we lead causes, and we're here to call you to do the same. We want this show to inspire you. At the end of the day, I have an agenda to weaponize you as a powerful man or woman, to weaponize you to lead your marriage, to lead yourself, to lead your family, and to lead the world. The kingdom that you're searching for is within. We, the people, will be found. The real White House is you. We run this country.
Tomorrow all the things were gone, worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the U.S.
I remember as a kid, class started out like this. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and the what? For which he stands. One nation. One nation. One nation. Oh, we've forgotten some shit, haven't we? Indivisible. For what? And for? Have a seat. We rewind the clock here. 1956, the government, Congress came together here in the United States and decided to put a statement on the back of our money. The statement was simple: in God we trust. Oh, have we forgotten? 1956, fast forward to 2023. You speak of God, people are offended. You speak of bullshit, and you're celebrated. You speak of truth, and you're persecuted. You speak of lies, and you're elevated. Declaration of Independence, document that started this nation, series of documents of individuals declaring their independence from tyranny and their independence from oppression and reclaiming rightfully what God had given them. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and given unalienable rights by their Creator, mainly that of life, help me, and no guarantee of happiness. We go back further to the Bible, book of Genesis, real simple. In the beginning was the heavens and the earth was without form, and darkness covered the deep, and the Spirit of God moved across those waters. Verse 3, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And creation began. And for many of you here, you sit in darkness. You sit in confusion. And it doesn't matter how much you study the funnels or how much you study the frameworks, there is a piece in the equation of fire that you are lacking. And no matter how much you study, and no matter how much you try, and no matter how much you grind, and no matter how much you build, you will find yourself lost, confused, frustrated, disconnected, disassociated, and alone. Because you have no fire. Fire is not motivation. Fire is a simple experience of truth. It's an experience with truth. And where truth is, transformation can occur. Truth is the gateway to God. God is the author of transformation. I am not God. I am not transformation. I am not a transformational trainer. I'm an entrepreneur, a father, a husband, a builder, a man, a son of God. I'm weak and I'm strong. I'm committed and I'm not. I'm frustrated and I'm on fire, all at the same time, because that's what it's called being a man. I've got it figured out and I'm gonna lead my family, and then a day later, I have no idea what the I'm doing. And then your wife's like, yeah, you don't know what you're doing. You're not helping. You're not helping, but you believe. And so I pursued this game of creation. Only I was missing the art of transformation in my own soul. I was missing the piece that sits on our money. In God we trust, it says. Right above the White House. In God we trust. So I have a question for you. Do you trust God with you and your money? And we know based upon what you do, not what you say. For some of you, this is your first pass being here. You're hearing this game. You're experiencing this game. I've seen you in the halls. I've talked with you, connected with you. I see it in your eyes. The beginning stages of transformation starting to birth itself from inside out. You think you're here for funnels. You think you're here for frameworks. And Russell is a master at giving you all of that. But without the fire, there is no future. The fire is your future, but the fire without funnels and frameworks and focus means nothing. And so running around pumped up with the fire of God does nothing for those who have no focus. And that focus means you're gonna have to do some hard shit. I know some of you are confused. I've used God all in the same sentence. This is not gonna end anytime soon. That's because I'm not a pastor. I'm an entrepreneur. But the fun thing is, my experience is that God is working in a new way today. Same vibrational message, but a new way. If the churches could have pulled it off, they would have. If the governments could have pulled it off, they would have. So who has God reached out and put his hand upon? A bunch of psychopath, bipolar entrepreneurs, Saul to Paul, mother. You and me. We're the ones. People come up to me and say, I don't really like that word that you use. I'm like, which one, God? Like, no, the other one. I was like, Jesus? Like, no, the other one. I was like, yeah, that one. I said, oh, sweetheart, if you're tripped up by that word, you have no chance of leading today. See, at the end of this is a game of freedom. Freedom that you and I are pursuing, it's what brought you here, is a pursuit of freedom, your soul desiring to be free, fully expressed, no lies, no bullshit. That you on the inside is you on the outside, and building a business in which you get to be you every day, all day long. People hear me and they listen to me on stage, and they're so used to speakers that are one way on stage and then totally different off stage. They're used to pastors, happy, clappy, and bullshit, and then they get off stage, find out he's sleeping with somebody's wife. What you see is what the you get with me. The end. Am I perfect? Hell no. But I don't have to be. God never asked you to be. Perfection is presence. It's the willingness to choose the call every day. Well, I choose it today. And in that moment, salvation has come. Many of you struggle with this idea that you have to have it right, that you have to have it figured out, that you've got to do it perfect, that if you don't launch perfectly, then things aren't going to work. And here is the clue. None of it's ever going to be perfect. Because you're not perfect, and you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be better today than you were yesterday. Am I a better husband today than I was yesterday? Yes. Am I a better father today than the I was years ago? Yes. Am I perfect? Hell no. I got a ways to go. You're not waiting for permission through perfection. But many of you have been taught, trained, and educated by the church world, by society, that perfection is what you're looking for. Every single person you have seen on this stage has a wake-up that preceded what you see. The challenge is people lie. They don't tell you the whole story. Couples that stand up here and hold hands and be like, I've been with Mildred for 47 years. We've never had a fight. My ass, you haven't had a fight. Full of shit, or one of you has been high as balls for 47 years. Only possible way. So you look at this game of marriage, it's wild because when you have a business, you're being married to this business. The market changes, conditions change, funnels change, opt-ins change, conversions change, people change. But see, what I'm after for you is not change. No more change. This is what change translates out to be. Change. I'm a triangle. It's not working for me. I'm going to change. I'm a triangle. Change. I'm a triangle. Change. I'm a triangle. There's change. That's a presidential campaign right there. We're going to give you the illusion of change. And I swear to God, I see one more group of people get together and clap their hands about the fact the U.S. government has borrowed more money. Good job, guys. Good job. I'm so proud of you. You got a bigger credit card. Well done. Not one of you can get away with that. Not one. Two sets of rules being played. Rules for them and rules for us. But we have a third set of rules coming in. And we are the ones ushering in these rules. We are the real White House. You look at this as an entrepreneur. You think that a president's going to change things. They will. Look, they're not lying about that. Triangle, 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 triangle. So proud of myself. I'd like to get reelected as being one of the greatest triangle rotation leaders of our day. Just over here mentally masturbating away with change. Gonna fucking pretend like we've actually fucking done something around here. Why? Because transformation requires something to evolve. You don't need to come to this place to change. You are not here to change. You are here to transform. But this requires truth. And where truth is, God is. And so I started inviting God into my life. Many of you have witnessed this happen. I don't do it the way everybody else does it. Surprise, surprise. I do it the way God works with me in it. And transformation is showing up here to the altar with a triangle and becoming a circle. See, to leave this place just a rotated triangle is a problem. Some of you keep coming back here as just a different colored triangle. And you know this. So here's honesty time. If you know at this point you are rotating as a triangle and have lacked the courage to ultimately transform your world in business and life, stand up. This is honest time. Don't lie to yourself. I told you truth is the gateway to transformation. Look around. You're the most honest people in this room. Do it again. Boom. Two clap. Boom. Two clap. Boom. Have a seat. God, truth, transformation. My money's not lucky. And my marriage isn't either. 20 years married, 22 years together, 5 children. And to say that I showed up as a rotating triangle for 15 to 16 years would be an understatement. As a man, I struggled with these concepts. And it affected everything. It affected the money. It affected my soul. It affected my happiness. In the end, I realized I was working so hard so that I could get the attention of one woman, that I could feel worthy of who she was. And so no matter how much I built, I kept missing the mark. Because I wasn't inviting God into my marriage. I wasn't inviting truth at the level that it needed to exist. And so transformation was something constantly hidden from me. And so it's my honor today to share with you truth that we hope will inspire you to find the fire of transformation for yourself. It's one thing for a man to stand up here and tell you about how great of a husband he is. It's another thing to give his wife the mic for 20 minutes. It's one thing to tell you the world you're a great father. It's another to give the mic to your children and let them speak the truth. And so, for the next part of our experience today, we're going to head down this path of God, truth, and transformation. And this idea that funnels and frameworks, although powerful, will not be enough. And why your focus in the game of fire, and why you must die and be reborn in order to find this thing that you're after. And for those who were seated that didn't stand up, the only reason you gave yourself a hall pass is because I didn't make you be accountable for your whole life. Dominion was the first command in order from God to man. I give you dominion, the ability to pursue happiness. I give you dominion with 2 instructions: multiply and replenish the earth. To pursue happiness. All of these documents coming together. In God we trust. Unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And dominion. Dominion of your body. Dominion of your being and your spiritual relationship with God. Dominion of your business. And most sacred of all, dominion of your partner and relationship with your wife or husband and your children. And so the woman who has been the wake up to the wake up warrior, the one woman that without her, none of which I have built could exist, I bring to the stage my queen, my everything, the woman who lights fire under the man who breathes fire, Danielle K. White.
I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead. I let all that get to my head. I don't care. I paint the town red. She devil, she bad.
I'm not the devil. I just like that beat, so that's the song I chose. How are you guys doing? How are you doing? This is the last day. Garrett and I love being out here. We love inspiring. We love sharing our story. Honestly, I'm that type of person. I'm kind of introverted and quiet. I'm like, we're saying what? We're sharing what? And I have found over the years being truthful has actually helped myself grow and inspire others. So amidst not wanting to share and be all me, God just keeps saying, go all in. And I do, and we are blessed as a family. So I wanted to share just a little story with you guys. I know you've heard a little bit of our story throughout the years. I can't believe it's been 9 years. They're like, year 1, 2. I was like, we've been on ClickFunnels for 9 years. That's amazing. But I wanted to just share a story because even amongst everything that Garrett and I have done, we are always still called to evolve and grow no matter what level you're at. So we've shared our story multiple times on this stage. About 12 years ago, we lost everything. We didn't know if we were going to stay married. We had 2 kids at the time. This is when I launched the brand of Natural Beauty Rose and Garrett launched Wake Up Warrior. And it was rough. Got really dicey and sketchy and scary. And we had to rebuild our life and our relationship to what you see today. And it was crazy because a couple years ago, we bought our dream home, $20 million beach mansion, multiple supercars. I mean, I thought we'd just we had surpassed anything I even thought was possible. I went on to have 2 more children. We now have 5 kids. So, you never know when there's a fork in the road and you take a left and a right. Like, I could have never imagined that if we hadn't stayed together where I would be. But we have 5 kids, beautiful home, the supercars. I went on to compete in multiple fitness competitions, won first place. It was amazing. I'm like, we've done it. We've hit it. Like, where are we going from here, babe? And it was last year, towards the end of the year, I had just finished a fitness competition, won first place in my category. I was like, okay, this is amazing. And crazy enough, I actually found myself in kind of a very dark space. I felt kind of empty. I felt kind of disconnected. I felt like I had drifted. I mean, if you went to my Instagram page, it looked perfect. It looked great. But a part of me was kind of hiding. I was hiding from the truth. I was hiding, telling myself, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. Don't share your feelings. Don't share how you're feeling. You've hit the checkbox. You exceeded your blueprint. You've arrived. You rebuilt your dream life. And there was something lacking. And I didn't know what it was. So January of this year, I just kind of started to get depressed. I was so scared to talk to Garrett about this, to share my truth, how I was feeling. I didn't know what was missing. And then the pain started to get so deep within that I thought, I can't keep these feelings and these thoughts in anymore. And I have to have these tough conversations with Garrett. And part of me thought, if I have these conversations, is it going to ruin everything we built? Am I going to lose my family? Am I going to lose my relationship with Garrett? What am I going to do? And I had to have a moment of honesty and truth with myself and give myself permission to go be vulnerable and tell him and share how I was feeling. And Garrett's, he's not the best listener, guys. So it didn't come off with a sweet conversation. It was kind of like, I feel disconnected, buddy, and we got to get this fixed. I felt like the past year we were going on this fast-paced life that I didn't even see that I was drifting from myself, drifting from God, drifting from Garrett, flying private trips, diamonds, jewelry, all this. I didn't notice I was drifting. I didn't notice I was sedating in fitness and other things, and I just told myself, I'm okay. Honestly, you guys, I had built my business. I had hair tools and hairlines and an online academy. I had built an 8-figure business, whether I decided to show up for work or not. I was like, I built the dream entrepreneur life. I can hang out with my kids. I homeschooled my kids. I went all in with my kids, and yet something was missing. I was lacking connection. I was lacking truth and honesty and connection. So I decided to have this tough conversation with Garrett. If he tells the story, he's like, my wife crowbarred me in the face at the beginning of the year. And I'm like, you're welcome. Because I believe that's women's responsibility to not just say you're okay, to not just hide your truth, but to share your truth. Bad, good, and ugly. If not, there's no point in supporting somebody if you're not supporting yourself. Women play an equal role to their families and to their husbands. And if you're not showing up to the best version of you and sharing your truth, you're not showing up to the full potential of you. So I shared my feelings with Garrett. He was actually weirdly feeling the same way. He was feeling disconnected, not seen, not heard. I thought, how did we get here, right? We worked so hard, but we were kind of in the fast lane. And we didn't take those moments to kind of stay present, stay connected. So it was scary, and it was interesting to hear that Garrett was actually in the same place as me. And it didn't get easy right away, but we decided to do weekly therapy. And Garrett and I don't do things half-assed. We're like, if we're going to do something, we're going to do something. So we still, to this day, started early this year. We started doing a 2-hour therapy session every week with a therapist just so we could stay connected and learn how to communicate. I felt like we were kind of living in the fast lane and our finances and everything was just a whirlwind. So we started having financial meetings every single week to see where our businesses were at, to plan ahead with our family and make sure that we're good, that we're safe, that we're connected. And so it's crazy because now, it's been such a short period of time and I feel so connected with Garrett. I feel so connected, more so than I've ever felt. I feel like I can read his thoughts, and it came with me allowing myself to give myself that permission to be honest. That just because everything looked perfect, that I was dying inside, and that I wasn't happy and something was missing. I also realized that I had kind of taken my foot off the gas inside of my company, and I love what I do. So I got back involved with my company, fired a bunch of people, made a bunch of tough decisions, rebuilt my company back up, and I'm now working and balancing my relationship with Garrett because you can't take too much time off. You can't let yourself drift, or what happens is you become disconnected. And the goal here is to always stay in tune and connected. And that comes with being honest and truthful with yourself. Where are you at? Where are you at? It's like when you hire a personal trainer and you're like, yeah, I'm eating perfect. I didn't do anything. And you're like, shit, I had 4 donuts. You're just lying to yourself. And so that doesn't help. So the more honest you can be with yourself, the better results that you're going to have inside your life. I'd like to actually do a little exercise with all the ladies in the room, if that's okay. Yeah? If you are a woman and you are able to stand, please do so. Ladies, unfortunately, we live in guilt a lot of times. And we don't give ourselves permission to speak our truth and to be honest with what we want and the role that we play in this life. So I'm going to take you guys on a little exercise. Close your eyes. Go ahead and put both hands on your heart. We're going to take a couple deep breaths in. Go ahead and inhale. Let it out. Take another deep breath in. Go ahead and let it out. Now I'm going to say the following. You guys have heard Garrett say this a lot. When I say move, you're going to say permission. Clear? Move. Permission. I want it a little bit louder, ladies. Move. Permission. Move. Permission. Move. Permission. Move. Permission. Keep your eyes closed. What are you giving yourself permission to do? Honesty, love, faith, trust, vulnerability. Move. Permission. Move. Permission. Move. Permission. If you have a cell phone, please grab your cell phone and turn on the flashlight and let's dim the house lights. Go ahead and grab your cell phone, turn the flashlight on. You're going to hold one hand up in the air. Go ahead and dim the house lights. Put your other hand on your heart. Take a deep breath in. Close your eyes. Let it out. Ladies, you are called. Every single person in this room is called. You are no different than any man in this room. You are equally called to serve, to lead, to guide. So when I say move, you're going to say, I am the answer. Move. I want you to say, I am the answer. Move. 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 I am the answer. Let it sink in. Keep your hand on your heart. Tap in. Sometimes you have to stop listening to the voices in your head. Let your heart lead and guide you. Give yourself permission. She will never steer you wrong. The only person getting in the way is you. You do not have to have all the tactics figured out. You have to have the willingness to accept your calling. And every single woman and man in this room is called. It is up to you to accept that calling, because that will push you, that will drive you, and that will move others around you, that will inspire. I don't care what you do. I'm a hairstylist. Every single person in this room, regardless of your trade, is called to lead and serve. And the person you become in the process is who you have always been. Not who you are going to become, but who you have always been. Let her lead you. Let her guide you. Let go. Give yourself permission to be free, because freedom shall set you free. The truth shall set you free. Ladies, you're beautiful, and I see you. I see every single one of you. Accept your calling. Rise for yourself.
I appreciate all your love, brother. Hey, I appreciate all your love. I hear all your love.
Go ahead and lower your cell phones, ladies.
I hear all your love. How about you come up here with me?
Go ahead and have a seat, ladies.
Doesn't take a strong man to stand up in a room of women and do what you just did. That's weakness. 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 Don't want to shake your hand. Don't want it. Don't need it. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Is this your room?
He is the prophet.
You just stood
It is his
as a man
It is his
in a
prophet.
group of women,
Yes, to protect
and
them.
you didn't protect anything.
Them. Jesus Christ says,
I
I'm the way, the
hear
truth, the
you.
life. Only him.
Sit.
Only him.
Sit. You
Only
want to
him.
witness? Sit. You want to witness? Sit.
I bow only before the
I'm not asking you to bow to me. Sit. I'll sit by you. Sit. Sit. You want to be a man? Sit with the man. What's up with his core? Sit with me.
Sit.
You
I
cannot
cannot
sit. Then
no.
you can leave.
I can.
Good. I
can.
wish you well, brother.
Okay.
Appreciate the courage. Now come do it with the men. Nah. It's good. It's good. It's good. Let it go. Let it go. It's okay. I understand where he's coming from. The only challenge is he did it with a bunch of women. And this is the problem with most men today. Oh, they're so strong around women. You're so strong, you'd never do that in a room of men with me, bro. And so this is a challenge, ladies. This is a challenge. Because that is an example of what you face. That is ego. That is a desire of a weak man to be heard while women are attempting to unify and rise. I'm not upset at him. It's just weak. This is why men exist, to protect women. This is why Warrior exists. God knew we had no chance with how weak men have become. And ladies, I love you. You are doing everything you can to rise in power and to support each other. I have 4 beautiful daughters, an amazing wife, and 1,000 hairstylists. It's a lot of fucking hair. And so I see into this place, and I see what it is to watch women suffer. And this is hard when you have men do what this guy just did. I wasn't witnessing about Christ, and that's the problem. I was seeking for attention from a guy who's built nothing. And you all face this every day. If this can happen here live with me, what do you think is going to happen when God calls you to do what you've been called to do? All day long, you're going to be attacked in social media. And here's the wildest part that I was not expecting, is that you'll be attacked by the people who say they love God. This was all perfect. How many saw me having to balance a little bit of Garrett J. White, the man, and how many of y'all saw that? I was fucking proud of myself, I'm not gonna lie to you. Proud of myself, I said, Jesus, take the wheel. Otherwise, this man's gonna feel my fucking heel right in his face. And he did. Look at that, he took it. So when my son was a year old, his mother and I got divorced. And I attempted for a few years to be a father with him up in Canada, and I was in the United States. And I attempted, weak attempt, I was in my early 20s, to stay in his life. When Danielle and I met 22 years ago, I made an unconscious decision and I unplugged from my son. I would not spend any active time in my son's life, Parker, who's now 24, until he was 17 years of age. Yeah, I was that guy. I was that fucking guy. And I remember sitting there wondering, how do I bring this together? How do I put this marriage to my son? How do I unify like I was with my wife? How do I even do this? And it was my wife who was fighting for this child. See, ladies, what you don't see is that oftentimes, more than often, you are the activation to the revolution in your lives. Your marriages won't shift until you take a stand. My wife, over and over and over again, took a stand. One of the places she took a stand for was my son. You notice my wife says we have 5 children. To watch my wife and my oldest son become one, and to watch our family become one, has been one of the most sacred processes of healing I have ever experienced. And my son has fought for himself to be a man. He's fought under the shadow of what it is to be with me, and what it is to be with me as a father who fucked up for over a decade and abandoned it. No calls, no attempts, nothing. And for the last 7 years, I have poured my soul into bringing that child into my life. Poured my energy and my life into him, attempting to heal what I had broken. It required truth and transformation, which God was bringing about.
The next person sharing from stage is my son, Parker J. White.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop her. I'm gonna work harder.
So it was October 13th, Thursday, last year. I'm sitting in my apartment, sitting on my couch, absolutely alone. Absolutely alone. My girlfriend left me because I was a piece of shit, didn't show up. Had tons of examples of how to show up, but refused to be honest with myself. My girlfriend decided that she was done with me. My best friend decided he was done with me because I lied and manipulated my situation. Everything I knew, I could just talk my way out of things. My family, I was disconnected as hell. Even though we would get on stages like these, we would talk about connection as a family, but yet I felt more distant from my father than when he wasn't around. And all my coworkers couldn't trust me because I would show up every day at work like a pathetic bitch who couldn't get the simple task done that was required of me. And so I'm sitting there on October 13th on my couch, and I'm weeping. I can't believe who I've become. With a father who stands as an example like this, there's a lot of fucking pressure to be a man. And yet I find myself the most disconnected one out of them all. And so I'm sitting there on the couch and I'm like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So I hit the weed pen for the fucking 100th time. Because, as we all do, we wanna sedate, we wanna get the fuck out of our pit because we don't wanna actually deal with the problem of the reality that we're facing. I was facing the fact that I was not living in integrity in anything that I was fucking talking about. And I'm supposed to be Garrett's son. I'm supposed to be Parker White. I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. And in that moment, I had a decision, and there was a ton of silence. I sat in that empty apartment all night, and I got asked one simple question. Will I give myself permission to choose me? My dad had told me for many years to do this, but I didn't actually do it. I didn't actually be honest with myself. And so this takes me over to Christmas, and I'm sitting there on Christmas Eve, and everyone, happy, jolly, we're all laughing, it's a good time, family, a lot of hugs. And I'm getting gifts from everyone, and I'm giving hugs to my mom, I'm giving hugs to my sisters who I love. Always have had a connection with women because I grew up with moms. Shout out to all the single mothers out there. I have the most utmost respect for all of you. You are the bread and butter. But I get this necklace right here that I'm wearing from my dad. And this means the world to me. This meant family to me. It didn't mean Christ. It meant the love that I finally reunited with my father. But yet getting this gift, I go to give him a hug and embrace him for this beautiful gift that he gave me, and I feel nothing. I feel the same disconnection I had when he wasn't around trying to call me on the football field, telling me to go to practice, when I was telling him to fuck off because, quite frankly, he didn't have the right to call himself father. I felt the same feeling on Christmas this last year. But because I had made a decision back when I was alone in my apartment to choose me, I started down a warpath to actually go after what I wanted as a young man, which is I wanted to be able to stand at the table, stand with a guy that powerful, and say, this is what I want. I want my dad, and I want my relationship with him. And I want to be able to stand in a room like this and say, I am my own fucking man, which is what every young man wishes the desire to actually say. Because regardless of how the parents show up, we still want to be able to have our own voice. We live in a society right now where it tells us that we can be everything. But yet, if we're not the best, we can be nothing. And so I talk to my dad, I bring him down to the beach, and I have a conversation with him, and I talk to him and I say, Dad, listen, I can't keep lying. I can't keep getting on stage. I can't keep telling all these people that I love you when I really don't. And I don't feel you. And I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of having a TV show that says that we're the best fucking family in the world. I'm sick and tired of being on stages like this where I'm supposed to tell everyone how great this man is, yet I fucking hate him. I want to work on this together, and I want to create a relationship with you where we can love each other and give ourselves permission to love each other guilt-free. Because I'm not carrying any more guilt at this point, but he was. And so I asked him to give himself permission to actually love me without the guilt of leaving me 23 years ago. And that was when we started down a warpath. Thank you. Yes. See, this is the thing as young men. We have to be able to actually say what we want. And most of the time we're lying to ourselves about what that really is. I wanted a relationship with my father, so I decided that day was going to be the day that we actually started having a relationship. And I watched as he forgave himself, and then we got to this place where it was my birthday. Now, put your hand up if your parent has ever actually forgotten your birthday present on your birthday. Hand up. Come on, there's a few of you. Yeah, we got some normal people in this audience. So my dad forgot my birthday present. So I was like, okay, here we go. I get a call on April 6th. My birthday's April 4th. And he says, hey, son, I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you as a son. I need to talk to you as an employer. I was like, okay. So I'm going down to the hotel. I'm all excited. I'm like, haha, he missed my birthday. He screwed up. He's going to have to make up for that one. And we get to the hotel room, and we sit down on the couches. And in that moment, I watched my dad break down in front of me for the first time, completely sobbing, crying as a man who I've watched be so powerful become so weak, telling me that I had a decision that I had to make. Am I going to be a slave and work 3 times the hours that I was working and get paid the same? Or am I going to be brave and choose me and go launch my own thing? What he did in that moment was he created favorable outcomes for me to actually make a decision. And the reason that he was crying, little did I know at the time, was he was fucking praying that I decided to choose me. And that moment was the longest 2 minutes of my entire life. As I sit there watching my dad weep and me sit there in silence having to say, am I gonna choose me? Or am I gonna wuss out like I did when I was 17 and almost killed myself, like when I was 19 and almost went off the ledge? Am I gonna finally choose me? And that brings me to here. 6 months later, standing on this stage, having a business that creates over 10K recurring revenue, helping over 20 one-on-one clients with young men, setting them free to do the same thing that I was asked to do myself, which is creating a movement for young men to be able to give themselves permission to create the lives that they want. And that all starts with them making a decision and being honest with their real truth about where they are and giving themselves permission to speak at tables they never thought they had a voice at. Because at the end of the day, us young men, I've always wished to have a voice at the table that my father sits at. But I never was willing to give myself permission to speak. And so here I stand as a 24-year-old young man who helps liberate young men to finding their truth to ultimately create the lives that they want, so that I can see unconfident young guys be able to have a generation of leaders that will get us out of the hole that we've found ourselves in. Because at the end of the day, we are the fucking generation that is going to change this. It's not up to them anymore.
You have to be willing to progress. Progression is divinity. Progression is divinity. Getting trapped in the perfect box will destroy you. How many of you clear on this? Raise your hand. How many of you know you're still going to struggle with this? Raise your hand. We've been raised in a world that has taught you to lose by having you reach for the unattainable game of perfection while devaluing and seeing yourself as not worthy, and by default having you not trust in God and not trust in yourself, with the illusion of spiritual power, yet lacking the fortitude to do what is required. spiritually worthy, yet in this world worth less. Not because you are worth nothing, but because your ability to produce is weak. So I'm proud of my son. He's done some big shit. So in 5th grade, my daughter tried to kill herself. To know that your baby, after a fight, decides to take a knife and belt to her room. And as a man, you're like, how the Like I couldn't figure out how to be this guy. How do I hold space as a man? How do I do it for my wife? How do I do it for my son? How do I do it for my daughter? And she chose a path that was so against the grain from what I was raised in. It was shattering my box and it was shattering my wife's box, and God used my daughter to bring me back to him. And that pain had her pursue a purpose and a path that I did not understand. She refused to go to school because her soul knew she had something else to be about, and I didn't trust. And so just over a year ago, sitting in prayer with God, asking, please, begging, help me understand how to guide this child, he said, let go. Give her back to me. She was never yours to have. She has too many voices in her life. Give her back to me. And from that place, I watched my daughter rise from being a very distraught young woman to a powerful woman who today with us will be releasing her single known as the artist Bay.
Sometimes I whip my hair out. Sometimes I whip my hair out, screaming till I'm blacked out, just to kill these voices in my head. Looks perfect on the surface, but inside I'm fighting urges. Set this world on fire and call it rage. Come into my kitchen, run as fast as you can. Here's the list of ingredients that make me who I am. Take a quarter cup of crazy, out a milligram of mad, out a scoop with daddy issues and some trauma from the past. My scandalous behavior, put the temperature on max, in case you wanna make me from scratch. Here's the recipe for me. The recipe for me. Different flavors, but I don't believe in labels. I just do what the hell I want. Don't care what your sex is, just go and ask my exes. You could say that I'm just looking for love. I should come with a warning. You might be allergic, and you could wake in the morning to find I'm not the sweet girl you met. Take a quarter cup of crazy, add a milligram of mad. Let's all clap for daddy issues and some trauma from the past. My scandalous behavior, put the temperature on max, in case you wanna make me from scratch. Here's the recipe for me. The recipe for me. Recipe for take a quarter cup of crazy. recipe for me. The recipe for me.
Two clap. Boom. Okay, so one question.
Yes.
How did you find permission to choose you, even with me coming with as much heat in your life in resistance to what your soul knew you were called to do?
Okay, rewind. I had a vision in kindergarten, and I just saw myself singing all white in an arena, and I was like, this is weird. Okay, cool. Like, I guess sing, fun. And so all my life I kind of knew, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm a singer. Like, that's my thing, that's my spiel. No one else knew. And then I found that out. I was like, well, you don't know my soul purpose? What is going on there? And kind of like my dad mentioned, you know, I went to treatment. I have had all the mental health issues in the book. I have bipolar 1, I have ADHD, OCD, anxiety, depression, you name it, I have it. And I didn't know this when I was little. Me and my dad would always get in wars over this because he didn't know how to help me. I didn't know how to help myself. I'm 10. And there was this one instance where I ran up into my room, I slammed the door on him, I had a knife in my hand, and I was sitting there. And I fall against the door of my room that had already been broken from a manic episode I had the week before of breaking my door. And I just sat there and I was like, staring at my closet, staring at the belts, and I was like, at 10 years old, I already knew that the world was this up that I didn't want to live in it. And that at the time, what I thought was my brain was messed up, because that's what society taught me, that my brain is messed up. And I just sat there and I was like, yeah, I'm 10 years old and I want to kill myself. At 10 years old. Do you know how sad that is? For all the teenagers and like all the millennials and even anyone, like the world we live in, if you have kids our age, it is messed up. An incident that happened with the guy trying to like talk whatever that happened earlier with my mom, you have that but times 10 with women and men our age. It goes for anyone. It doesn't matter your gender, it doesn't matter your sexuality, it doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter anything. It doesn't matter your religion. You have things like this. And so I chose for myself when I was younger, I had that instance and I was like, you know what? When I sat down and I stood up to go, and I was like, you know, I'm acting on this. I'm gonna kill myself. I fucking fell to the ground. And I saw the same vision that I had when in kindergarten. I was in all white, I was singing in an arena, I was like, I have to sing. Like there is no ifs, and, or but. I'm either dead, 6 feet under the fucking ground, or I'm singing. There isn't anything else. And so that was kind of the moment I realized, I don't care what anyone else has to say. Obviously I can still be hurt, I can still be affected, I'm a human being. But I was like, I don't care. This is my path, this is what I'm doing. If you wanna stop me, go ahead. I'm gonna do what I wanna do.
One of the side parts of raising powerful kids is that they have opinions. And it has been some of the greatest learning for me ever. Because what's the alternative? The way I was raised, and so many of us were submitted, beaten, and given no voice. This is how it is religiously, this is how it is financially, this is how it is politically, this is how it is. We are all raising children right now who know that the structural setup and the way society is built is broken. The only challenge is they have no idea what to do about it. They watch your lives and you do not bear fruit that they desire. And so they don't trust you. And until you bear fruit that your children desire, until you can show up for yourself as a man or a woman and lead by your results, not your revelations. Your revelations mean nothing without your results. Your revelation leads to results, which always comes back to this core game of truth, which is the reason why we as a family came together and launched something that we knew would impact a lot of people. Go ahead and cue our last video.
And I just felt like, what are people gonna think?
And that's the fucking problem. You care what everybody fucking thinks. And amidst all of your fucking stress about what everybody else thinks, you won't listen to him.
Every instinct in me told me, like, run.
I lied to myself. I lied to my wife. I lied to my teams. I lied and I lied and I lied. And you would think that in that place that you would just wake up.
I just remember feeling almost disgusted. And there was literally no chemistry between us.
I was just trying to get away from her, get away from the kids, get away from the noise, get away from the debt, get away from the collectors, get away from the banks, get away from the investors, get away from fucking everybody. We've never like forced a spiritual path around here ever. We've kind of like just done our thing individually, but at least I don't feel like I have forced it.
I'm interested to see what comes out of this conversation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This was a big pivotal moment. I love it. You wear yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was like, we all have. Ruby, you have yours?
Ruby.
Guys, we're not
Ruby, where's
Christians.
your
It's upstairs.
superpower?
No, I am. It's upstairs.
but this is
guys.
When I
She has her pink necklace on. It's okay.
Well, because I normally wear those ones on the plane,
Yeah.
but
Why? Why do you wear them on a plane?
they make me feel safe.
Exactly. And that's the whole piece of this, that this doesn't mean to me like,
Are you Christian?
no, this doesn't even mean to me Christianity.
Oh, God.
This doesn't even mean to me, honestly, a relationship with God, to be honest with you. Like, this means the family.
As much as I could to just keep the container open. Because the only thing that matters is this connection. And if you don't have it, then life doesn't make sense. And it doesn't matter how many scriptures you memorize, and it doesn't matter how right you think you are, and it doesn't matter how much you've studied if you don't get it. And like you're getting it, all of you. And that's what creates like the connection here for us. Even when we're fighting and warring.
So the hardest thing I ever did was put myself online and tell you the whole story. Like that was stage one. Oh, not this one. Go ahead and key that one off. Just go to the last one. So that was the hardest piece. Like was me as a man having the courage to be honest. That's where it started. And the second piece was having the courage to be honest publicly with my wife about our marriage. And we saw the difference that started happening in people's lives inside of Wake Up Warrior. We watched what happened from stage. We watched what happened in our podcast. As we started setting a new standard for what it was not only to be individually powerful, but what it was to stand as couples. And I knew that there was no change or transformation we can bring about here without powerful marriages. Without individuals connected to each other, truly committed. But I knew also that that was simply the setup for having a connected family. And this is my squad -1. We have another baby, it's a 1.5-year-old. This is what matters to me. And so I came to them and proposed something crazy. I said, how open would you be to sharing your life for the world? And one by one, they agreed. And as a family, we came together and we said, from here on out, it's we. We as a family, we as individuals. Many of you here are alone. You're fighting to set yourself free. But what you don't see is the consequence of that incarceration. Many of you here know you've been asked to make decisions to transform your family forever, but you're sitting there still waiting in fear. You're worried about what other people will say. You're worried about what your spouse will say. And so I have an invitation to you. It's not to follow me. It's an invitation to trust God. There is a power in this place that was sparked by Todd and Russell from the beginning. It's why I was always drawn to it. It's a power with my family that we have found in this place too. And so the Real White House, our show, is not an attempt to market anything but a message, which to call this country to rise. We're in trouble. We're in trouble as a people, and time is running out. And we can't do it alone. You must give yourself permission. Give you and your spouse permission, and give your family a chance. And so as we wrap up our time together today, I'd like you to stand up, please. We're going to share in a moment together for a minute or two, and then be done. The person next to you, although this may feel odd, I'm going to ask you to hold their hand, please. Just do it. Just do it. Some of you are like, I'm going to build something big, but I can't hold the person next to me's hand. All right, go ahead, close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and release. And on this next breath, as you breathe in, I want you to see your family, your children, the people that matter to you. And deep breath in and release. Feel the energy in this room. Feel God here talking to you. And on this next deep breath in, simply ask yourself the question, is now my time? And deep breath in and release. Father, we come together as a group of men and women, different religions, different beliefs, different experiences in the games of money. But we come unified, knowing and unknowingly, searching for you. We come asking for truth, to find the courage in ourselves to go, the permission. Father, there are men and women here in this group that need your love. They need your permission. They face a world of judgment and persecution daily, and mostly from the man or woman that looks back at them in the mirror. Father, I ask that you would insert into the cracks and crevices of their world a new truth that would lead to transformation. That this time things would be different. That leaving this event, things would be different. That they would take the stand that you're calling them to take. A stand to transform. And take a deep breath in and release. And just feel into this space. And deep breath in and release. And Father, our final request is that the men and women in this room that know there are commitments that have not been made that need to be, that they would have the courage to move forward in those commitments, whether it's here with Russell and the team, or whether it's somewhere else, that whatever that commitment is, they would feel the power inside of that commitment, that today would be a day of decisiveness and decision-making for them, and that most importantly, that they would find you. And we close this time together with my family and theirs in the sacred and holy name of Jesus the Christ. Amen. And open your eyes and look around for a minute. Just look around at people. We're the ones. You've the ones that have been called. There's nobody coming, because you're it. There's no one coming to back it, because you're called. Stop looking around and take a stand. Join us on a journey with our show and any other ways that my family and I can inspire you. We thank you to Russell, to Colette, to the teams, to Todd and Ashley for giving us the opportunities to come share over the years, to share my life, to share my marriage, and to share my family. And to end this whole thing up, look at the person next to you. Turn and look to somebody next to you. Turn your whole body. Turn your whole body so you're facing somebody next to you. And over the next minute, I want you to share what you are committed to. What are you committed to doing leaving this place? And if you happen to be standing there with your hands in your pockets, wondering why you're from Orem, Utah with your hat backwards and you're not 17 anymore, go ahead and turn to the left and find somebody to talk to. Yeah, Kev, you know who I'm talking to. I know I put you in a daze. You were like, God, he's so beautiful. All right, we are sharing in 3, 2, 1, go. Family huddle. Family huddle. Family huddle. Now do the even uncomfortable thing. Hug the person you just talked to. And one final clap to leave it for today. Here we go. Boom. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you so much.